So this week around the house, I've been doing a lot of cleaning and purging and making sure that things that are being stored in tote boxes are being stored in the right size and the right color coordination scheme because I'm totally neurotic like that. So I have these clear totes that I had forever that were supposed to be for Violet's things that kind of got overtaken by craft supplies and then now are going the direction of gardening. A lot of them at this point either have no lid or the lid is completely cracked from the plastic becoming old and, doing what plastic does after a while. And some of them even have cracks along the side, which would make for easy drain holes. So we're going to go ahead and use them for gardening. I'm in the process of sorting out what seeds have survived and have not, and a lot of these ones have not, so I'm just going to get rid of them. I don't know if you saw that cute little mushroom that was growing in the dirt for that last mango seed, but because it fell apart and it looked like it had a lot of black, it won't come back, we're going to go ahead and get rid of it and recycle the dirt back into the compost pile and see if we can make something productive out of this. I mean, that's just kind of gross. Let's just throw this out. Because truly, if we go ahead and get rid of all of the things that we don't need or that aren't really growing or that have become kind of sort of a waste of time in the garden, we can make room for things that are growing successfully and happily, like these pineapples that just keep getting greener and happier the more time they spend outside, especially in the rain that I've had the last week. I am not gonna keep going forward with this mango one. Ew, another black one. But as these plants get bigger and I continue to put more time and effort and energy into them, and because sometimes it's really good to water from the bottom up, I think these totes are going to be great for moving them around my porch area and inside my house if need be. Like, say, a huge giant storm comes and I don't want to risk anybody getting blown away. Easier to carry them in batches of like 5 to 10 as opposed to individually. But in this week's check, I did have a lot of pineapples that I just decided to part ways with. Sure, there was probably the possibility that they could have maybe come back, but where these ones are just not looking as good as the ones that you see at the bottom of the screen that are bright green, I don't think it's really worth spending a lot of my time on, especially where I come in contact with pineapples often enough that I can replace these faster than I can revive them, and that sometimes is the sad truth with life and gardening. Especially sadly if I touch it and the whole root system falls apart. But these ones, for the majority of them, are hardy, sturdy, and bright green and ready to keep on growing. So I'm trying to make this box a lot of pineapples that are, in a sense, providing the shade for the little avocado seeds, so that way that everybody can kind of grow simultaneously in the same space. So with a little organization and planning, I got a few fit in there for sure. I almost made the tough decision to get rid of this little plant, but I think this little growth that's in there has some potential still, and even though it's not on the hardier side of things, I'm going to go ahead and save it and hope that it keeps being the little mighty pineapple plant that could. I really don't even know what the plan is for all of these at this point, but if you have a hobby like gardening and you're trying to save money but still grow something, I mean, anything can really be grown. I don't know why this one fell apart like that, but because the top is so lush and green, I'm going to keep giving it a chance and push it as far down into the dirt as I can by twisting, so hopefully it doesn't continue to fall apart. But yes, I guess you could say that I've always wanted to grow my own pineapple for experimentation purposes, and while I've tried growing pineapples before, I have not yet gotten to the part where I actually have a fruit, and I guess this year is going to be the year that I'm going to increase my odds tenfold of finally getting a pineapple, even if it is just one teeny tiny little baby. I feel like I have to, as a gardener, find this satisfaction in growing a tiny pineapple plant. This one's root system was actually kind of really gross, so I don't I don't know why I'm walking away with it instead of just chucking it, but I think I actually did put this one in a tiny to save pile of very, very questionable plants. But my very questionable, sketchy plants that may or may not grow pile has really cut itself down significantly to just about 3 plants that I'm still continuing to take a gamble on, but that likely will just end up in the trash if they don't grow. Now, I am going to end up putting my very, very happy mango plant in this little box for the time being, just so that way I can transport my mango easy. But the nice part about these totes is that sometimes you can create a nice little greenhouse effect by throwing the lid on top, which is really nice for propagation boxes if you're into continuing to regrow things. But I just want to make sure that my mango plant is safe and happily watered inside of these boxes until I can get it into an appropriate size pot, because with the way that it has grown and continues to grow, I feel like it's going to need something big soon, but I need to do some type of research as to what size pot is going to be appropriate for it in the long run. Because when you're looking at pineapple plants, believe it or not, those ones actually do best in shallow pots. And I don't think that mangoes really need shallow pots because they're supposed to be a tree at the end of the day. But I'm going to have to figure out what is going to work best for our situation and what I have on hand, because I do have such a collection of plastic resin pots, terracotta pots, ceramic, you name it. So I'm going to go ahead and give everything a good water for today, so that way hopefully next week we have clear-cut growth in everything. My avocados have not been as successful as they used to be when I was propagating them, and I've seen some new techniques that I may try next week to see if they work better, but I'm starting to wonder if the old method that I've used of being able to peel off the shell of the seed is really that effective anymore for the avocados that I've gotten, because they are susceptible to things like sunburn and sun damage. So I'm thinking that maybe in the future I'm probably just going to continue to let them soak and do their own thing on their own until they're ready. But in the meantime, I have a few going in dirt and water, and we will see if any type of growth happens in the next couple of weeks. Violet actually really wanted to do the watering part, but then by the time I was ready to actually do the watering, she totally disappeared and said she'd do something later because she had a Paw Patrol emergency. Okay. But I did end up doing a lot of cleaning in my planting storage area and came across some things that we had been saving from last year to see if we would end up being able to regrow them. And I'm sure all of you will recognize these spring classics as soon as I show you, but I'm worried that it may be a little bit late in the season to get anything truly out of these. Either way, we are going to try, because the seeds had been sitting for so long, and I'm not sure if these bulbs are going to be still happy once I put them in water and see if they can force sprout, but I'll give you a chance to guess what they are because they're a really popular spring floral. Ready? They're tulip bulbs. We had these tulips last year and just decided that we were going to save them and see what happens. So when Violet did finally decide to come back and do some watering of our date seeds and aloe plants, she added some water to the tulips as well, and we're going to clean off some pots for the rest of the week and see what magic we can make later.